Hey y'all, Billy Thompson here. If you're looking to fix up your truck, figure out what that weird noise is, or just learn a thing or two about keeping your car running right, you've come to the right place. I keep it simple, straight up, and hands-on. Go ahead and give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's get to work. Enough jawing, let's dive in.
Fault code P077B sounds like output speed sensor circuit, steering error. Often, in OBD2 scanner software, the name may have the English spelling, output speed sensor, OSS, circuit, direction error. Technical description and decoding of error P077B. Diagnostic fault code P077B indicates an output speed sensor, OSS, direction error. Without an accurate output speed signal, the transmission control module, TCM, cannot change speed correctly, so this code is set. In electronically controlled transmissions, the output shaft speed sensor, OSS, is located at the end of the transmission in front of the drive shafts or drive axle. The output shaft speed read can be used to determine when to shift, as well as the torque converter timing and the electronic pressure control inside the transmission. If a fault is detected by the transmission control module, TCM, the PCM/ECM can override the values based on other sensors to determine the shift time. Thus, trying to adjust the torque converter and pressure if the information from the OSS sensor is not available. The OSS sensor is also normally used to display the speedometer reading, so the data it contains may not be correct. In some cars, the OSS sensor is in line with the transmission fluid temperature, TFT, sensor. If the TFT sensor or the associated wiring is faulty, the OSS sensor may also malfunction. Therefore, if there are other errors associated with the TFT sensor with the code P077B, look for a possible problem with any of these sensors or the wiring between them. Symptoms of malfunction. The main P077B fault symptom for the driver is the illuminated MIL, malfunction indicator light. This is also referred to as the check engine or simply the check engine light. It can also manifest as the check engine control lamp on the control panel will light up, the code will be stored as a fault. Other related fault codes may also be present. The speedometer or tachometer is not working, or is faulty. Gear changes are difficult. Problems shifting gears. The engine does not accelerate well. Jerky or false ignition at idle or under load. The engine may stall or not start. Reduced engine power. Increased fuel consumption. Error P077B is quite serious, as the conditions that lead to its persistence can cause damage to the transmission. Causes of the error. The P077B code could mean that one or more of the following problems have occurred. The output shaft speed sensor, OSS, is faulty. The transmission fluid temperature sensor, TFT, has failed. Open, short-circuited wiring or short-circuited connectors in the circuits of the sensors listed. Sometimes the cause is a faulty PCM module. How to eliminate or clear fault code P077B. Some suggested steps for troubleshooting and correcting the P077B fault code. Read all stored errors using an OBD2 scan tool. Clear the errors and run a test drive to see if the P077B error appears again. If the code appears again, inspect the wires and connectors for damage. Test the output shaft speed and transmission fluid temperature sensor input circuits. Replace the faulty sensor if there is a problem. Flash or replace the PCM if necessary. Diagnosing and solving problems. It is worth first consulting the Technical Service Bulletins, TSB, for your particular make of car with error P077B. If the existing problem has been described, following the instructions can save you time and money in diagnosing and correcting the problem. Visually inspect all cables and connectors leading to the output shaft speed and transmission fluid temperature sensor. Carefully inspect for abrasions, exposed wires, or breaks. Also look for melted or otherwise damaged areas. Repair if necessary. Electrical wiring. Check the wiring harness for loose connections, loose wires, or dirty terminals. Disconnect all wiring harness connections from the vehicle, output shaft speed sensor, TFT sensor, and PCM/ECM unit. Using a multimeter on an ohm scale, check for excessive resistance. If the resistance is too high, trace the bundle of wires through the circuit between each connector to determine the cause. If the resistance indicates above the limit, look for broken or damaged wires. Check for an earth fault in the wiring sections by moving the positive or negative conductor to a good earth connection. If there is resistance, there may be a short circuit to earth. Wiring harnesses should be checked for damage to the wiring harness or areas that can be grabbed by contact with the car chassis. Faulty wiring will often be the cause of error P077B. Output shaft speed sensor. Some vehicles use a plastic gear at the end of the OSS sensor. Remove the OSS sensor and check the condition of the pinion. To determine if any teeth are missing or worn, replace the pinion if necessary. Check the wiring harness for possible signs of damaged cables or loose connections. Measure the resistance by removing the connector and using a digital multimeter adapted to the ohm scale. If the resistance is out of range or above the limit, replace the sensor. Check that the sensor and the PCM wiring harness connector are energized using the factory wiring diagram. If the OSS sensor is on the same line as the TFT sensor, the voltage will vary depending on the temperature of the transmission fluid. Transmission fluid temperature sensor. In addition, error P077B can be caused by a faulty transmission fluid temperature (TFT) sensor. This is usually seen in vehicles equipped with the TFT sensor installed in line with the OSS sensor. The TFT sensor is also checked for resistance using a multimeter mounted on an ohm scale. If the reading is out of specification or exceeds the limit, replace the TFT sensor inside the gearbox. Check the wiring harness connector for PCM/ECM power, using the factory wiring diagram as a reference. Place a multimeter on the SHK. In which vehicles is this problem most common? The problem with the P077B code can occur in a variety of cars, but there are always statistics on which this error occurs most frequently. Here's a list of some of them. With fault code P077B, it is sometimes possible to find other faults. The most common are the following: P0720, P0721, P0722, P0723, P077A. In conclusion, understanding fault code P077B is crucial for diagnosing issues related to the output speed sensor circuit and steering errors. By recognizing the symptoms and potential causes, you can take the necessary steps to address the problem effectively. Always remember to consult your vehicle's manual or a professional mechanic for accurate diagnostics and repairs. Staying informed about these codes can help ensure your vehicle operates smoothly and safely. Thank you for watching, and we hope this information has been helpful.